Hey, and welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I am your host, Dougie Almeida, coming to you live from our Danger Studios in South Florida. That's right, I'm here in Florida. And if you can't tell by the sweat glistening off my forehead, it's hot and humid in my location. Anyway, welcome back. We have having a show for you this week. We took a little break last week, a little craziness during the week, and but hey, we're back. And you know, it's usually good when you have a lot of crap happening when you're going to do a comedy news podcast. And I'm real excited because my guest today, we actually all shared the stage on my birthday weekend at the Greenville Comedy Zone, where Steve Trevino was the headliner Friday through Saturday, Sunday, I should say, and kicked ass the whole weekend. Almost sold out shows, pretty much sold out. But today we have my new friend and comedian who is opening for Steve Trevino all weekend, Dave J, and my good friend Andy Gunnan. Everybody, welcome to the show.
Hey,
what's up, everybody?
Thanks for having me back.
How's it going, dude?
Yeah, this is Andy's second appearance on the show, and last time he did it from poolside or some shit. You know, it's like having
I got to show my new pool.
He's like, look, I got a pool, everybody. I got a pool.
I'm in debt for the rest of my life.
It's a fucking
above
pool.
Ground
it's
or
not
a below ground pool.
Oh, it's in ground. It's gunite, pebble tech, the whole nine, stone, everything.
Oh, no
Nice.
shit. No, hey, excuse me.
No, we're all going to Andy's house after the show. Gonna go skinny dipping. Dave, new to the show, very funny gentleman. Got to watch him work all weekend. Course, featuring and you know, I was impressed because Dave's one of those guys that you know he's a really cool dude, and he's just with it because we're in the middle, like we're in the show, we're in the back all hanging out, and the best part about working with other comics is you get to, like, you know, hang out and talk comedy and shit. And there was a couple jokes, and Steve's really good about that, about working with you on that and helping your and the comedy and what you're doing. And I thought that was awesome. And then we're just talking and came up with a couple ideas. Andy and I were sitting back there, and Dave had a joke, and Andy and I were just sitting there like, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? And this son of a bitch, Dave, goes out in the next show, and what does he fucking do? He does the fucking tags. I'm like, oh, I thought maybe by Sunday. He says, oh, he'll maybe try it on Sunday, but he fucking used the tags in the next show, and it worked. So thank you for having faith in Andy.
Yeah, thank you for those tags. No, it was great.
Yeah,
that was a good show. When I got to that part of the joke, and it worked, and I could see the two of you in the back corner up out of your seat, like you're at a football game. I'm like, all right, I think it worked.
We're doing the fucking wave.
We're like 5-year-olds on a mattress just jumping on. Yeah.
He did it, man. But that was a lot of fun, man. And, you know, there's a lot of things we learned that weekend, and there's a lot of things other people learned that weekend. And just etiquette, you know, when you come to a comedy show, and, you know, I always say, listen, if you have the opportunity to do a guest spot, like Andy did guest spots on, was it Saturday, right? Both shows Saturday?
Both Saturday shows. Yep.
And I mean, he ate a dick on both shows, but I mean, the fact was, no, I'm kidding. He did great.
That was before we got on stage.
Yes.
Yeah. He was gobbling it up.
Gas to get home.
$50 is $50, man. And did his job. He did his time, did his job, and fucking kicked ass and shit. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I guess it was Saturday, the Late Show. My wife showed up with her friend. It was my birthday that night, and they brought my wife's dad. Remember the older gentleman that was sitting with them? Yep. And it was funny because he actually, before the show, he looked at me, he goes, Doug, he goes, you think there's a chance I can go up and tell a few jokes? And I was like, you know what I mean? And I have heard his jokes, and they're typical jokes you'd hear from an older gentleman. And it was funny, but I told Steve after the show, I said, my wife's friend dad wanted to come up, and he goes, oh man, that would have been great. I'm like, what? You know, I would have never went and asked, hey, can my girlfriend, my wife's girlfriend, my wife's friend's fucking dad do a spot? You know what I mean? I never thought, but he says, oh man, that old guy walking on stage, he looks like the old guy from Up, you know? And TV, and and he said Steve was like, that would have been fucking hilarious, no matter how bad his jokes were, So I mean, you never know, right? I mean, you never.
Yeah.
If you guys are ever at a show that you're not on and you're just hanging out, I mean, you don't ever ask for a spot, but if somebody asks you for a spot, what do you do? Or to ask you if you want to do a spot.
If I want to
say
do a spot,
well, let's say you're at a show,
Yeah.
you're not on it, but you have friends on the show, and you're in the green room just hanging out, whatever, and they say, hey, man, you want to go up? Want to do a few minutes?
oh yeah, I won't
100%.
ask.
Yeah.
I won't ask.
No, I never ask.
But if they're going to give it up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the key, right? Don't ask if you're there, and if they want you, then you can, and they say, hey, you want to go up? Yeah, of course I want to go up. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
that's what I do.
That was the
Like,
thing,
well, I hadn't thought of it.
Right. Well, that was the thing, because I was in like 60 minutes south of you guys where you were doing the shows. And I saw, that's your hometown now, Dougie. And I saw you were on it and Steve. And I had opened for Steve at the Punchline in Atlanta. And he'd come on my radio show. So I was like, oh, I'll just go up there, hang out, see everybody Friday, say hey to Steve, you hang out, check the place out. And then, Steve goes, hey, Andy, you want to do some time? Okay. Sure. Was not looking for that. Was not there to do that. Just there to hang out Friday, see everybody, just hang out, and that was it. So yeah. So
good. And he did great. And if the funny thing was, I called you. I think I was talking to you guys when we all left on Sunday, and then Steve called me back, or I called Steve or something. He called me back. And then he goes, hey, you available this weekend? Because you weren't going to work. You weren't going to work with him in Ohio. I said, I guess you turned out. I guess you weren't going to work open for him in Ohio.
Yeah.
And he says, are you open this weekend? I'm like, oh, I got one gig on Saturday in Florida, man, a corporate gig. I'm like, oh, shit. I mean, right there, and you know how we are. I'm like, I can cancel it. I should cancel that gig, because this is an opportunity. You know what I mean? And I kept thinking I got to cancel it, but it was like one of those gigs that had already been booked for like 9 months. And I got paid a deposit and all that shit already. And I'm like, and it's a good amount of money too, to be honest with you. And I was like, oh, and I kept thinking after, I'm like, well, that's it. Never going to get that fucking chance again. Like, God damn it. I should have just said fucking yes and dealt with it. But frustrating.
Well, I mean, that's what I end up doing nowadays is like, especially I live in Austin, is turning down a lot of local gigs to be on the road with Steve, because it's like, it's the stage time, the exposure, the money, just getting to perform in different parts of the country is such a differentiator in any scene. You can tell the guys that when you see them around town, you can tell the guys that have been on the road or who have been really working, outside of that city. So it's tough, man. It's tough to say no. So like with Steve, I'm with him 90% of his day. Like, go to Ohio because my wife went on a trip, so I'd be home with the kids, which was it was just as fun as being on the road. But when you it's hard to turn on that opportunity.
I guess what I got to do is I got to somehow contact your wife's travel agent and get you fucking getting out of town more often.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave's busy. I don't know how that happened. Thanks. I'll take the gig. But yeah, listen, the more you work in the big clubs, the more you work in various different regions of the country, the more polished you become. And, that's just priceless. It's just priceless experience. Hey, one of our first topics today, I don't know if you guys had heard, but we all know about the slap that happened at the Oscars. We all know that now that Will Smith has been he's been banned from the Oscars for 10 years, and I did that to myself a few years ago myself. And but and a lot of backlash. And I thought it was kind of funny that Jada Pinkett, all of a sudden there's these articles now in the news about look how great Jada Pinkett looked after. Fuck that witch. You know what I mean? We don't try to brush her up at this point. Like the press is trying to make her look like a good woman. We all know how evil she is. We all saw her giggling after her husband bitch slapped Chris Rock. No one's gonna fucking like her anymore. It's over for Jada Pinkett. She's not fucking liked. And that's what. But Chris Rock went on to say he won't talk about the Oscar slap until he gets paid. And you know what? That's a great idea, right? Like
Probably
if
the
somebody
best
wants
thing
the
he could do.
exclusive, what's that?
I said yes. It's
Andy?
probably the best thing he could do.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean. And I wouldn't be. I'm surprised we haven't heard yet that he's suing the fuck out of Will Smith, because I would be suing that bitch for $1 billion right now. Yeah, like for just tarnishing my image and everything.
That's tough, dude. That's what he says he wants to get paid. What does he mean? He wants someone to pay for the story, or he wants a settlement from Will?
No, from what I
I think
understand, it's paid for the story to talk about it,
Yeah.
which that's genius. That's and plus, honestly, he's getting better press and better stuff by not saying anything and just being cool about it. So, because I mean, that to me says a lot, because I don't know that I could keep my crap together to do what he's doing, but it's the best. It's probably the best move he can make, because when he went, I guess, where was he at when he went on stage right after and said, I'm not going to talk about it. He acknowledged it, and then I got a show to do and moved on, which I was like, that's awesome. That's way above what I would probably do.
Yeah. My ass would have been like, that pussy
control.
like walked on stage. That cocksucker fucking pulled all his hair out too, the bitch.
That's it. The control is crazy. The control is crazy. And Will Smith no longer invited to the Oscars. I mean, it really backfired for Jada, because that's the only reason she would ever go to the fucking Oscars, if she was with Will Smith as his +1. So she really kind of screwed herself there.
You think she's going to show up with somebody else?
I think the best move is she should actually be in G.I. Jane 2. I think she should actually pursue being the next G.I. Jane, get back to the Oscars, and then have Tony Rock present her with her Oscar.
Yeah, and then fucking punch her in the face when she walks up to get it. Congratulations, bitch! Just smack her in the fucking head.
But honestly, he could have gone after a lot more stuff than just a small joke. Like, he could have gone for the throat on a lot of other things.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, we already talked about it. I had Bob Levy on the show the other day, and he goes, he should have said something like, "No wonder your wife's bald from all those guys pulling her hair from fucking her from behind." No wonder your wife's looking for another man. You hit like a bitch. I mean, but he held back. He wanted to. He definitely wanted to. But I definitely can only imagine. I was talking to one of my attorney friends, and he said, "Yeah, he's got a huge case. I mean, you got slapped." I had a friend of mine who I worked with a major corporation. I left the company, and then he stayed there for a few more years. A big company that uses a deer. An insurance company uses a deer as their emblem. And one of the senior vice presidents of the company slapped him in the face for something he said at one of these meetings, like in front of fucking 100 people at a conference. And she said something about this, and he said, "Oh, what about this?" And she slapped him. He got like $250,000, $300,000 just from that being slapped.
I gotta get slapped,
I imagine,
dude.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta go on like a comedy show. You get Steve Trevino to slap your ass on fucking stage.
Oh man, if I could get Steve to slap me on camera, Steve, I'm sorry if you hear this. It's over, dude. Please slap me. I'm coming for the house, dude.
That's a win-win situation, Dave, because if he slaps you, you sue the fuck out of him. You get fired. Andy and I start slipping in his opening acts. Everybody fucking
there you
wins.
Go. Hey, if I get that settlement fee, you guys can do whatever you want.
He'll be home all day, blowing bubbles. There you go. Well, the big story too. We had a big story that came out too. We're a little closer to weed being federally legal in our country. The House of Representatives approved a bill to allow federal legalization of marijuana. It has to go through the Senate. Those stuffy Republican cocksuckers. They probably don't want it to happen. But, I don't. None of us came into the show that weekend. Anybody got weed? Because I always have my own, of course, especially if I'm going to be on the road. But
That's the main
I
thing we
don't.
need to solve. There, just go, dude. Just go right down to the 7-Eleven. You can go out. You can buy some weed there.
Right? It would have just made things life easier for this poor kid. You have the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, known as MORE Act. Is that not only
Oh,
can allow it legal, also expunge anybody who got arrested and spending time in jail for weed. You know,
oh wow,
I
So
could
how long
imagine
do
wow.
if
they
you
I
went.
mean, I mean,
I
oh,
can only
go.
imagine if you had
what's
gone to jail for weed. Like if you're in jail for weed, you know everybody in jail is going to be saying, "Hey, you got any weed?" You know, I mean, we know that pedophiles and child rapists get fucked. You know, we know what their destiny is in jail. But if you're if you're
Yeah,
selling weed and you're in jail, you just must be like getting weed for everybody. You know,
yeah. I mean,
um,
you're just moving to a new market.
yeah,
It's
you know,
it,
it's not
it,
like you have to
it's
worry
it,
about the
I mean,
cops showing up.
yeah. I mean, they're the ones who are going to help get it in for you. I
Yeah,
feel
you
bad
know,
for these guys. I'm glad they're trying to get them out of jail too, because it's gonna be funny to come out of jail after being locked up for weed for 15 years, 20 years, and then the thing that put you in there is like next to the bubble gum in the fucking
right?
grocery store. It's
yeah,
like
exactly. Could you imagine?
When
I think it's
You
great.
come out of spending 15 years in jail for weed. Next thing you know, you walk out of fucking Publix or the dispensary right there. Everybody walking out getting high. Hey,
I would be so
uh,
mad. I would lose my. I mean, I would probably go back to jail because I would just lose my marbles.
yeah.
Yeah, I wonder
Um,
when they let them out, they should set them up with like I don't know. You probably need a license to sell weed. I guess I don't know. I mean, get them a job
Yes.
selling weed. They're good
Yes.
at it. You have a whole
yeah.
population of professionals. So if you're going to start this industry, I mean, just recruit them.
Well, that's what they're doing. I mean, I have a good buddy of mine who used to grow weed on his own. Now he's working for a legal company. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
and it's amazing. I mean, Colorado. I was in Colorado Springs not too long ago. That whole place smells like weed. I don't care where you go when you're in Colorado Springs. You walk around, you smell weed. Um,
Right.
so
oh yeah,
I mean, I don't know if it's going to
Well, I've
make
got.
much of a difference. I mean, for me, if it's legal, I still go to my buddy. I still get it. You know, it's not like I worry about cops catching me do weed. So
yeah.
Right. Right. I mean,
Well,
I've got a
in
friend who's
some
out in
places it doesn't even
Colorado.
matter.
Right. It
Go
doesn't.
ahead.
In Colorado, yeah, it doesn't. They don't. I mean, it doesn't. But on the federal level, they can still pop you federally,
yeah,
even
Here in
yeah,
though
but
Austin,
that's a big thing.
we don't even have enough
Go ahead,
cops
Dave.
to fucking check the meters. You could park anywhere you want in the city, so they'd never mind going after people for smoking pot. The cops are here
Really,
just dodging bullets. So
is there a police shortage in Austin, Texas?
yeah. I think I heard about it on the news, but also like just being out there, no one pays for parking. Like people will park anywhere, and every couple of months you get a $20 ticket, and you go, "I'm making money at this point." So like the cops are. I mean, someone's getting shot every other day in downtown Austin, and the whole place smells like weed. So the cops don't care. Like people smoke on the street, depending on what street you're on. Uh, but also with the amount of homeless people, I mean, they mask the smell of the weed pretty good too. Nobody can really tell what's going on down there.
I don't know if I smell weed or armpits. What the fuck is that smell? Then they're going to come out with a new strand of weed, you know, armpit. It's really high. But listen, I think it's time. You know, it's time to legalize weed at this point. I mean, it's not like and I'm really surprised there's violence in Austin. You know, and all those things going on. People just high, but you know. And listen, if you're an overachiever, you want more people to smoke weed because that just makes it easier to get ahead in life. You know what I mean? I was trying to get a raise, a promotion at my company, and I was competing with fucking, Smoke Box Bill over here, you know, and he ain't gonna get it. So why not? That's the way it should be. Um, you know, I don't know if you guys, Andy, did you go to college?
yes, I did.
How about you, Dave? You went to college, I think you
I did.
mentioned.
I have an MBA.
Ooh.
Oh
Damn. All
yeah.
right, so you
Hey,
guys
now
have been
look at
on
me.
Even,
the spring break. You guys have been on spring break, right?
right.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys have any crazy? You guys have any crazy spring break stories?
Yeah,
And
I do.
Andy
I feel like
has one.
Andy's got is probably has me beat. I'm pretty tame. I feel like Andy has a good one.
Well, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
I mean, I don't have anything good. I was so boring in college, dude. Like I was working when I was basically on spring break. I would just be working, and other than that, we'd go down to Florida. But we wouldn't even go to the good part of Florida. We'd go down to Hollywood, where my wife's from. We went to Miami Beach once, and we are like, it's too loud. We went up to Hollywood Beach. So we're pretty boring. We're out there just getting ice cream, like two elderly people. I know it's not
There's
as good as what you got. Because we
I've
Yeah.
got
talked about this
several.
before. You're over there
I've,
drinking a Miller Lite. I'm over here drinking a neon Starbucks. So you tell me who's got a better story.
that his husband bought him.
The best one I've got. I mean, there's one. One of the ones that when I was in college down in Panama City, I lived like 4.5 hours from Panama City. So to go down, it's like nothing. It's right in the back door. And when I was in college, it was my first or second year in college. I was down there, and back then in the 90s, everybody cruised the strip. So you'd be on the beach all day drinking, and then you get in your cars and get in the back of trucks and just drive up and down. And it was like a parade going back and forth, and people would just be, doing whatever and just hammered out of their minds. I'm walking down the street with my buddy, and actually two of my buddies, and this guy pulls up in this Mustang 5.0 black. It's like a 97. Just dad bought it for him. You can just tell. And he looks over, he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "I'm way too wasted to drive this thing. And I have a broke leg." And I was like, "What?" And he's got Snoop playing. He goes, "Man, I got my gin and juice." He had gone to the liquor store, bought a bottle of gin, a whole bottle of gin, a whole bottle of OJ, mixed them together. He's in the driver's seat driving. He goes, "I'm just trying to drink the pain away because I don't want to go to the hospital." And he goes, "And I cannot keep driving because it's a stick." And I go, "Move over." Don't know this guy from Adam. He goes, "Thanks, man." We all jump in his car. We're going up and down. He goes, "Hey, man, I'm going to go in the store for a minute. I'll be back." He disappears. Now I'm sitting in this dude's car. Don't got a clue who this dude is. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't be driving either. He finally comes hobbling back, and I looked at his leg. I go, "Is your leg really broken?" He goes, "Yeah, his leg was really broken." And he goes, "Hey, man, I'm going to go over here. Y'all keep driving my car up and down the strip." We took his car out all night, and just drove
Yeah.
up and down. And he told me, I said, "Well, where do you stay?" He goes, "Here's where I stay." And so I went, and I was a nice guy. Anybody else, that car had been gone. Gone. But he literally will walk. His leg was purple and like turning green. He could barely walk on it, but he was like, "I'm going to keep going." I don't know if the dude got his leg amputated or what, but I went back and I did the right thing. And I dropped his car off at the condo and left it there, and I walked away. But this dude was riding around. He goes, his leg was broke for 3 days, he said. 3 days. And then I don't know. But then my dumb butt goes to the beach the next day, no suntan lotion on my feet. My feet get sunburned, swell up to the size of balloons. I end up going to the hospital, and I leave with like all this Vicodin, like 4 bottles of Vicodin. It was like ridiculous amount of Vicodin they gave me. And I walk out, my buddy goes, "We're going to go sell that." I go, "Okay." I mean, we left with more drugs than anybody probably came to Florida with.
Did you
And they were legal.
left?
Wow.
Do you happen to have any Vicodin left? I could use one right now.
No. And I couldn't take them. But they gave them to me because I was allergic. So I'm like, I can't take this. I'm allergic. I mean, so I was like, "Do whatever you want."
That's so Florida. That's the most Florida story I've ever heard. Like, "I'm allergic to Vicodin." They're like, "Just take it." We can't get rid of the stuff. Who cares?
And here's your prescription.
And here's your prescription.
Yeah,
And that all happened in all happened like in less than 24-hour period.
It's like, Vicodin is like something like if you're ever interested, if you're ever fun to like get a party or something in a group and there's a bunch of people, just say Percocet loud enough for other people to hear and watch how many people come up to you like, "You say Percocet?"
Yeah, you got to make some friends.
You want to make friends, just go, "Hey, I got some Percocet." Yeah. Well, in South Florida and Miami, it's really bad. They had a curfew. There's people shooting each other and killing each other. But 2 Alabama men are accused of inciting and encouraging a riot after authorities said messages were spread online encouraging spring break takeover of a Florida beach town. Yeah, these 2 hoopleheads from Alabama were planning on taking over Panama City. I mean,
fuck it, let them try. I mean, let's see if they can do any better than the current government, dude. Give them a shot.
Oh my
Why
God.
not?
First of all, I was in Panama City about a week or 2 before you were, Andy, and it is the Redneck Riviera. That place is a shithole. And I'm sorry, I'm going to probably go back and do comedy there, and people are going to get pissed, but it is a fucking shithole. And it is the gooberness. I mean, the mentality of that place is unbelievable. And I guess that's why these 2 people from Alabama said we could take it over. Lawrence determined Cooper and Glasper played a substantial role in promoting and influencing their followers to create a disorder with a propensity for violence.
Wow.
I don't know, a disorder that was in the propensity of loving. Panama City police said the statement announcing the arrests and more are expected for other people conniving. It's like the January 6th investigation.
Nice. Did they say one of the guys had an amputated leg? Maybe you know him.
Yeah, one guy was limping. Has been driving a black fucking Mustang 5.0, and they're looking for some redneck fucking big looking fucking dude who supposedly drove the guy who funded it by stealing it from 7-Elevens. Can you point out the culprit? Yeah, he limped a lot.
Yeah. He walked in one big circle.
Yeah, he kept walking. He tried to leave. He just kept walking in circles. I was talking about Daytona in Florida. I was doing during spring break, and I was doing a comedy show in Daytona. And Daytona is notoriously like an unpoliced area. Like it's just crazy people. Whenever you do a show in Daytona, be prepared for drunk craziness. And I remember I was doing a show, and this biker chick walked in and was like, "Wow, like loud and shit." And the dude walked in, and he only had one arm. He only had his fucking right arm, and so they're loud and shit. And I'm like, "Hey, welcome to the show. It's fucking late." I go, "No wonder you guys showed up late because he was probably making fucking right turns the whole fucking time." He couldn't make a left fucking turn. So you got here late. Yeah. I had I think what the fuck happened to my, I almost got arrested in Daytona during a spring break. Me and my buddy we had like a case of beer in the car, and we were at Flagler College in St. Augustine. So we drove down to Daytona for the spring break, and there's like a bridge leading to A1A, basically leading to the ocean side. Mm-hmm. And we were on that bridge, and this hot chick was walking. And of course, my drunk adolescent boner ass thought I'd make a U-turn on the fucking bridge to chase her. And of course, cop pulls us over. We had to empty out, a case of beer, but we didn't get arrested, thank God. So that didn't amount to your story.
Is that where you went to school? You went to school in Flagler?
Yeah, my first year and a half, and then I went to Nova Southeastern University in your wife's area, town of Florida, Davie, Florida.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God bless Davie. Now St. Augustine is beautiful. We've been there a lot. We got family in St. Augustine, and it's like it's one of those places where it's like you go you get to one side of town and it's like this beautiful historic. There's a beach. Then the other side of town is just like a Dunkin' Donuts with someone doing heroin behind it. Like it's very hit or miss in St. Augustine.
Yeah. The oldest town to over 200 years. I loved it because I after my first semester, we had to stay in the dorms. I ended up getting a place on the beach. It was $550 a month for a 2-bedroom on the beach, fully furnished at that time. Oh, the women that we banged in those apartments. I remember the college.
Wow, they're
days.
Still there.
Yeah, the girls. I buried them under the building because they weren't very compliant. All right, guys, I got a test for you. I don't know if you guys are Prince fans. I am a Prince fan. Always did. I played in a band in high school called Sightless Cry. I was a singer. I loved Prince, and nice. I love Prince stories. So we're going to show you this little video clip, and you guys tell me if you think this is a young, very young Prince. Roll the
Are most
tape.
of the
now.
kids in favor of the picketing?
Yep.
How come?
I think they should get a better education too, and I think they should get some more money, cause they be working extra hours for us and all that stuff.
Yeah. Did you hear he said? What do you think? Is that Prince?
I mean, it certainly looks like him. Is that
Yeah.
from Minnesota?
Yep.
Oh, I feel like this is a trick, and you're going to say no. Actually, it's Michael
It's
Jackson.
Al Sharpton.
You
It's Al
monster.
Sharpton.
Got you.
No, that is Prince, everybody. News is a great story. News footage they were going through the news footage, this guy, and he looked at it and he recognized it right away. And then he went to found some of Prince's old friends from the day, and they verified it. Yeah, that's definitely him. So it's pretty cool, and you could pull up something they just found that archive video of Prince. So,
and what's he there? 5, 6 years old? I mean, he can't be more than
probably,
7.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's pulling it off. He's. I mean, my kid. I got a 7-year-old. You put a camera on him, and he'll turn to Forrest Gump, and he's not talking to the camera at all.
Yeah, right. He's like he had some twitches and shit, but he got it out. He was pretty. Yeah, I thought he was.
Well, he's
pretty,
getting ready to dance, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, "What do you think of what do you think of teachers getting more money? Yeah, they need to party like it's 1999, bitch." Oh boy, love Prince.
Awesome.
You guys have a favorite Prince song?
There's so many.
I'm very base level. I don't go deep on Prince. I'm partial to Raspberry Beret. I think it's just very poppy, catchy.
Yeah, that album was basically they said Prince kind of copied from Sgt. Pepper's Beatles album with that particular album.
Oh, that's
but it
okay.
was a lot of
Everybody
great
should.
Yeah, I mean, and my friend of mine just brought that. A big music friend of mine brought up the Beatles. He goes, is there a more iconic band than the Beatles? I mean, they haven't been around for 50, 60 years, and people still talk about them.
I agree. I think I was just having this conversation last night with somebody. They were a band for maybe 15 years. They were really famous from like 62 and broke up in 69. Like it was fast, and they changed really quick. There's a really great documentary just came out on Disney Plus last year. It's basically just a bunch of B-roll. It's like 6 hours of B-roll of them. What album was it? Recording Let It Be, and like developing the songs, and like just watching them work. It's like I don't know what it is about them, but I feel like it is like there's something that's like, how did these just Paul and John, how did they end up going to the same fucking school together? You'd think all these bands, they end up together because they're near each other, but then these two end up being two of the greatest songwriters of all time, and they just happen to go to the same school.
But they were always experimenting. They were always trying new things. They were always doing new things. They never sat and just kind of stayed in one lane, from when they came out to all the way to Sgt. Pepper, and that whole thing where, they're like, well, let's go, try acid and figure this out and open our mind up and figure out, they were, and I watched I didn't watch all of that whole special on Disney, the B-roll thing, but as I was watching it and they're sitting there just kind of like what we did, in Greenville, just talking about jokes and just, well, try this. Well, what about this? They were always doing and trying things, which is and experimenting. They weren't just a one band. This is what we're doing, and we just stay in this lane. And they were, and everything they did was great, even when they got out of their lane where they came out, in the 50s and went to here and here and here. So they were always reinventing and going to the next step, next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can imagine just fucking we were just fucking around in Greenville and you go, oh, here's a tag for this joke. They do the same thing, and then at the end, it's like, here's Get Back. It's like, what the fuck? You guys just made that? You just made it?
Can you imagine what Andy and I were doing if you turned our fucking little tags into like, let's get back, we're in the fucking back. Yeah, fucking did it.
The Greenville, that was our get back. I think it's a shame that somebody wasn't filming us.
By the way, Andy did take some good films. I'd be able to add to my TikToks and stuff. So thanks for filming us.
Yes, sir.
That's a thing. It's like when I work with folks, I like taking photos. I got a little hobby of taking everybody's photos and stuff. And I like taking everybody's photos, because nothing better than when you're at a show. Because a lot of times the shows I book and promote, I take all the photos. Nobody takes my fucking photo. Oh, this is great.
I know. I felt bad.
Everybody.
I felt bad. You sent me these photos, and I'm like, oh, I didn't take a picture of you.
Asshole. I gave him that look.
Kept it up here.
You don't have any photos for me?
Oh, your phone out of memory? What's the problem?
Yeah. How could you be an opening act?
Right.
Like a dickhead. That's funny. All right, by the way, guys, it's time for the News is a Joke. This is where us as comics, we hear headlines and we make fun of them one way or the other. I don't care how fucking terrible the show, the news is. We got to make it funny. We had me and Steve McGrew did a story about a guy who got run over by a tractor in a fucking porta potty, right?
Beautiful.
I mean, what a way to go. You're taking a shit in a porta potty in a fucking tractor. But it's a tragic story, but that's a funny fucking story. You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff you're going to get here. I had a bunch of people messaging me, how dare you make fun of this horrible situation? Yeah, it was horrible. He got fucking squished in his own shit.
I mean, this guy has to use a porta potty at work. I mean, this is the best thing that ever happened to him. Getting hit by that tractor.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And if you haven't seen it, go to our Just the Clips on our fan page and our YouTube channel. Hilarious, like 3,700 hits on it. But it's a fucking funny thing. And of course, Steve Mudflat McGrew is fucking hilarious. When he's one of those guys who can just talk and he's funny. Our first story, by the way, Russian troops are dead after getting treated to poisoned meals, Ukrainian officials say. Now, this is great. I mean, can you imagine being in the Russian army? You're blowing the fuck out of civilians in Ukraine, and then you're actually going to, I'll take some of that. I'll take some of that soup. Thank you. And they're eating a fucking soup. I mean, I love these fucking. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, you're gonna go ahead and get food from the people you're bombing the fuck out of. Like if I get in an argument with my waiter at a restaurant, I'm done. I'm not gonna fucking get any more. I'm done. I'm not want any fucking food. I'm not gonna trust shit. But you're throwing missiles. You're raping the women of the town. Oh, here's some fucking bagels and some pork. Here, go ahead and eat it. Yeah, we made it specially for you.
I mean, poison is a delicacy in Russia, I think. I mean, they that's just like not like grandma used to make it kind of poison. I do like to use the restaurant analogy as if when you walk into a Denny's for the waitresses, that's their Ukraine. They go, here comes Dougie. This is just like the invasion.
I don't care if I get my food wrong. I'm not sending it back because they're going to spit in it, much less poison it.
Yeah, they're going to stick their dick in it. They're going to teabag the fucking mashed potatoes. At least 2 troops from the 3rd Motor Rifle Division of the Russian Federation died immediately after eating stuffed buns served by the restaurant Elysium, a town about 80 miles southeast of Kharkov. Another 28 Russians are being treated in intensive care for being fucking dumbasses. And you know what? Perhaps you should have stopped at fucking McDonald's on your way to Kiev.
That's the thing. That's the thing about Ukraine is everyone has poison on hand. They're ready to poison someone at a moment's notice. I think that's the amount of. Yeah, they got it right there next to the Mortons in the Times.
It's in a fucking spice rack. Poison. It's in the Ukrainian spice rack. Fucking anthrax right next to the fucking pepper and fucking chives. Yeah.
That's how they're going to win this war, one bite at a time.
Yeah. Vladimir, who's coming for dinner? Russian soldier. Okay, little paprika, a little fucking asbestos, a little rat poisoning. Yeah. I mean,
they deserve it. That's their dumb self.
Yep. That's it. Next thing you know, they're going to be having sex with the girls and catching AIDS.
I mean, could you
Here's
imagine
a
how bad the Russian rations are that they're eating the poison from the Ukrainians? They're like, I know that we brought some food with us, but we got to get some of these Ukrainian
Yeah.
buns we've heard so much about.
I heard so much about these Ukrainian buns. Oh, they're delicious. People are dying over them. Great story because it involves Florida kids. Florida teen was killed as he and another teen took turns shooting each other while wearing body armor. Look at these two fucking gems.
Oh,
Wait, did they both die? Or one of them died?
One of them.
Just one of them
did.
died.
One of
Oh, that's
them
too
died.
bad. We could have lost both.
Natural
Yeah.
selection at its finest.
Yeah. A 16-year-old was
people
killed.
say kids are boring, but this is
Not
this
these
is next level. I mean, not these kids.
No.
People
I
say
mean,
kids don't play outside enough. These kids are all the way outside.
I remember we used to play games like we have firecrackers and we throw them at each other. You know, if we're with it, we'd be like in a close distance, like at a racquetball court. You know, inside the thing, we couldn't leave, and you throw the firecrackers at each other. We had Roman candle battles. You know, you get to light a Roman candle, and you're like having wizard wars and shit.
Yep.
But
Oh, yeah.
hey, Bill, listen, I want you to put on my dad's fucking bulletproof vest. I'm going to shoot you in the chest. Good idea? Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, he didn't shoot him once.
That's, I
He
think
rattled
that's-
off 4 shots. He rattled off 4.
Oh, from how far? Was it point blank, or did he give him some distance?
I don't think it said the distance, but it said that he unloaded 4 rounds on him. It wasn't just like, hey, let's see how this feels one round. Which this is the dumbest thing ever to begin with. Number one, and then the kid goes, rattles off four at him. It's like, are you kidding me?
I think this is what they call Florida roulette. Is shooting your friend at point blank range.
And a side note, it found out that the one gentleman who shot the other one was banging his girlfriend.
There it is.
There you go.
There it is.
This
will be an accident.
I was thinking I was going to grab my dad's sword and we could see if we could chop each other's fingers off. Oh, let's get a gun and try to shoot each
I'll
other.
go first.
Exactly. Oh, it sounds great. I mean, what the fuck? Here's our next story. 2 women arrested in La Quinta on suspicion of running a house of prostitution. $14,000 in cash seized. I like La Quinta. Perhaps I'm going to have to check my hotels.com and see if there's a fucking one in my next location.
Yeah.
Because, it's not some of the prostitutes are already there.
I've always been a fan of La
women-
Quinta. I just didn't know that they had this on the side going on.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember where I was recently somewhere. Oh, yeah. When I was in Colorado Springs, my buddy was driving me through town. He goes, see that hotel there? And it looked like a decent hotel. He goes, there's no cars there because they always get busted for drugs. Like there's drug deals there all the time and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would make sense, right? You just get a room, right? And then you rent it for the day, and you have a few whores in there.
Hey, I mean, it's almost a perfect crime. The only giveaway is that you're the one room that keeps calling down for more towels. Like, we need 3 more towels now.
Yeah.
We just brought you some.
And a bunch of boxes of tissue paper, please.
I went to El Paso, Texas. If you've never been, just imagine Mexico. That's what it is. So I went to El Paso, and the hotel that we were staying at, the Uber driver dropped us off, and he goes, the hotel is right next door. So not the one you're in, but when I look out my window of the room I'm in, I can see this other hotel. He goes, that's where they're keeping the ICE detainees, people who've crossed the border illegally, because El Paso is right on the border. People who've crossed the border illegally, they're being detained there, so you can't walk through the parking lot. I go, oh, that's a little sketchy. And he goes, but even better than that is the hotel where the Zodiac killer got his start. He used to work at this hotel, and he used to kill people there. And like, he killed this woman and her child in I can't remember what room number. And they say that every night someone calls down to the front desk from that room, even though they don't use the room anymore. There's no phone in there anymore. And you can hear a woman screaming, being murdered. And then he just dropped me off to my room, and he's like, all right, enjoy the rest of your stay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Have a nice day. Enjoy your time in El Paso. What an asshole.
As funny as I was there with Steve, And this hotel where this is happening, the club used to put us there, but now it's an ICE facility. So
Wow.
that's the only thing that prevented the club from putting us in the fucking Zodiac Killer hotel.
Now, were you guys working at like the comic strip?
Yeah, this is directly behind the comic strip. Like you can walk to the club.
Yeah, you walk and then you get over that wall and.
Yeah, you got to go around the wall. It's a whole thing. But I mean, the hotel we were staying in was nice. Had a great view of, you know, you could see the little kids out there in their cages running around in circles. It was nice. You get their yard time
with their shackles on and shit. A bunch of people with horses fucking whipping them. Get back in the fucking line, asshole.
Yeah, I forgot about the horses.
Listen, they're still talking about that. I was watching TV. I was at the doctor's office or something, and there was like MSNBC or some one of those stations, and the lady was still talking about, well, look at we whip people with horses, and they just got. I'm like, hasn't that been debunked? Like, how could you still be saying that stupid shit after even the Department of Defense or whatever it was like, there was nothing. You know, they were doing their fucking job. They were whipping the horses. Yeah. They weren't whipping the fucking people. It's just amazing. And they're still saying that
horses. Horse is a great way to get around on the border down there. Dude. Like, in all seriousness, and we were down there. We met a lot of people who worked for border security. What do you call them? Yeah, I guess border security. People who are border guards, whatever. And they told us some real horror stories. Like, it's dangerous out there, man. Like, there's this one dude after a show. He's a detective in El Paso, and so they're just picking up chopped off heads in the desert because like the cartel just dumps bodies over the border. And this guy is like, he's drunk and he's like, thank you guys for coming here. He's almost crying because we just need to get my mind off of things because I see all this horrible stuff. And he's like, I got to go identify this body in New Mexico. And he's like wasted. I'm like, when do you have to identify this body? He's like, in like 3 hours, I got to drive to New Mexico. I'm like, dude, I think maybe you should stay. I think maybe you should stay home. Call this one out.
Yeah. I think you want to sober up for this one. Oh my God. Wow. Hey, our next story. People would prefer a threesome with a robot over a human. I don't remember being asked this question. And first of all, let's see if our qualifications. Dave, have you ever been in a threesome?
No, I've watched two people have sex on my phone, so that's like a threesome with a robot.
Yeah,
that's in the neighborhood. That's right.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. So you watch two people have sex on your phone? Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't know them. It was just your standard pornography situation.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody sent you a video.
It wasn't a special.
I'm banging the girl from that hotel with the fucking Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, is she next door at the hotel?
She's stuck over from the hotel. I mean, $10 is $10.
No, complete strangers. It'd be weird if I knew them. I only watch strangers have sex on the internet.
Yeah, gotcha. How about you, Andy?
No, sir. No, sir. I have not.
Wow. No. Wow.
Yeah. It sounds like he's trying to butter us up so that we're gonna have a threesome.
Yeah, all three of us.
Yeah, I know. It's like I feel. Look,
we're gonna bang each other. We're gonna write each other tags, and
I live in one of the biggest swinger communities in the world. So let me tell you, I've seen it all. Oh, not seen it. The butter up. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Is that in Atlanta?
Yes, south of Atlanta. Yes. Very big swinger community. You can actually Google it where I live. It's a very known thing. It is not a secret. You can actually find it. Yes, it's a very known thing. As a matter of fact, the bar that I hang out at, my local bar, on Wednesday nights is wing night. And apparently that's the night they do all these meetups. And we know that these group of people, and that's fine. They do their thing. We don't, it's whatever. We know them. And it's like, hey, you do you, no judgment.
You do you do her, you do her.
Yeah, but what's funny is they will invite, they'll get these new recruits or new people that come in the town to meet up.
New recruits.
And Yeah.
It's like the military.
And
Swinger. I'm here to be a swinger.
and me and my buddies will be up there on a Wednesday night and you know, drinking beers, whatever, and then they'll come out and they'll just start talking like, "Hey, how you doing? We're new in town." And then all of a sudden we're like, we get it's like, okay, they're here for what's coming in about an hour. They're just early to the party, so they're just hanging out. And so I started picking up on kind of the lingo of stuff to kind of keep them talking and walking that path. And it's like, you know, oh yeah, if you're new in town, oh, you're here for the and the key word is meetup. They're like, yeah, we're here for a meetup. Oh, fantastic. You know, we're just hanging out having beers, and they'll go, oh, and they'll just start talking to you. And then and then what'll happen is the person who's in charge, who knows me, will come and go, get away from him. He is not with us. And I'm like, oh, and I will drag out this conversation till just like they think that I just have fun with it. And they're like, Andy, stop. I'm like, what? Y'all, if you're going to do this in public where everybody knows what's going on, I'm going to mess around with folks.
Andy's over there telling all the recruits. I don't know if you guys know this, but the last big fucking soiree orgy we had here, yeah, the Zodiac killer killed everybody that was here. Yeah, I don't know if the last guy here chopped
El Paso. There's a big community.
Yeah, it gets smaller every year.
Yeah, it's really a big. You should have scared the shit out of them. Yeah, they make it sound like you're gonna have sex with everybody. The minute you get in there, chop your balls off. Now I've been in several, if not many, threesomes. I've gotten so big that when I masturbate, it's a threesome. But I've been in a bunch, and especially when there's with you, a guy and a girl. I guess if there's a robot, a robot in there, you know what I mean? I've had weird situations where I was banging a stripper and she was like one of these arts girls and she had a mannequin. So we took the mannequin and put it in the bed. I did like we were fucking like, it's kind of weird. I had the mannequin's head shoved up against her ass while I was banging. So I don't know. I guess the robot would be good because they won't be talking after and telling everybody else about what happened. And the robot's not going to try to fuck your girl after you're not around, because that's what happens in threesomes. Sometimes one of the person gets a little crazy and starts thinking they could be with the person more than, the invitee or the invited thinks they can become, like the main person. And robot won't do that.
Well, that's not, how do you program these robots? What are the robots? Are these like, does Tesla make these? Like, what do they look like? What are their pronouns? What kind of robots are we talking about? Is it a Roomba? What are we doing?
Some of them are pretty hot, man. They're very realistic. I mean, I've never banged a robot.
I hope it's not a Roomba. I hate my Roomba. God, that thing. That thing never stays focused.
Hey, my Roomba broke. Why'd your Roomba broke? Well, it wouldn't suck my cock, so I was trying to fucking put it on my cock. The robot now. I was trying to have my robot. All it kept doing was like wiping it clean.
I had to get rid of my Roomba because I got a threesome with my Roomba. It tried to fuck my wife afterwards.
My Roomba fucking raped my wife. She was laying on the floor just as I was eating her out, and I realized that Roomba was shoved up her ass. Oh, God.
My wife finds me in the corner with my Roomba over my penis. What are you doing? Nothing. Mind your business.
I'm cleaning my room.
Well, that sounds like something a young kid would do, like a millennial, because from our date, you thought, hey, the old thing was stick your dick in a vacuum cleaner, to get a blowjob.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And some guy's going to hear that. And he's going to go, well, I don't have a vacuum. I just got a Roomba. So he's going to put the fucking Roomba on his balls. It doesn't feel right. I don't know why my dad said this worked. Anyway. Speaking of nudity, obese diners are to be banned from entering naked restaurant because it will be miserable for other guests. Get out of here, you fat fuck. Most people, when they think of nudist camps and stuff, they think there's going to be a bunch of beautiful people walking around. But any nudist camp I ever went to was just a bunch of old people. And this is in England, actually. Bessie Diners will be asked to leave naked restaurant because it could be miserable for other visitors. I can't eat my mashed potatoes if I'm looking at your fucking dingy ass hanging over that fucking chair. fucking whale. How can
Well,
you
it
be
said
naked?
you got to
all
wear
that?
paper underwear, and the article said they make the people take their clothes off and then put on paper underwear. What's the point of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
think nudists are in it. It's not. I don't think it's a sexy thing to them. It's like a freedom thing. I
Yeah.
think. And listen, I may be disparaging the dead here. You guys are familiar with Big Bird from
Big
Sesame
Bird?
Street? Big Bird, the
Yeah.
original Big Bird, the creator of Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch was this guy named Carol Spinney. He's a real guy who's no longer with us. Carol Spinney,
Yep.
I grew up in Massachusetts, right on the border with Connecticut. Carol lived right over the border in Connecticut. And he would come to the hardware store where I worked. And so I met him a couple times. I built him a bench that he bought and took home, all this type of stuff. And then later on, we found out, because we always would make fun of one of our accounts was there's a nudist colony in the woods there in Connecticut, and this one guy would come who was their maintenance guy, and we had like a file for him, so we knew that was them. And it turns out the rumor is that Big Bird and his wife were both nudists, and they would go to this nudist colony, which was like right by their house in Connecticut.
Hmm.
Now Carol's dead now, so hopefully I don't get sued by the Sesame Street, Jim Henson estate.
fucking
But
outing him.
to the best of my knowledge,
Yeah.
Big Bird was a nudist.
Was Big Bird's wife, was her name Snuffleupagus?
She I almost said something very bad about her, and she's a very nice lady, and I'm not going to disparage her, but
She's a
Big
nice
Bird,
Hey, Big
tall
bird.
guy.
Hey, Big Bird. Let's go to the nudist colony, Big Bird. I want everybody to see my big
And
trunk.
you know what? He wasn't fat. He wasn't fat.
No.
He was a
No.
very tall, skinny guy, so he would have been totally safe here, dude. I think that fat people should not be allowed to eat at naked restaurants. I don't think fat people should be allowed in any restaurant, actually. I think fat people should remain indoors at all times.
Listen,
That's my
skinny
official
folk.
stance. I think we should
listen-
separate. You know how they have bathrooms for men and women, and then they have like
Yeah.
non-binary bathrooms. We should have bathrooms for fat people and bathrooms for everybody else. We can't.
Yes, I
At the very least, if we can't get them out of the restaurant, I think we should give fat people their own watering fountains too. I think I've had it.
Look at Hitler over here.
It's time.
Holy shit.
It's time. I'm all in for this. I'm moving to the UK.
Fucking, this guy loses 5-6 pounds. He turns into a fucking, like a Jack LaLanne.
Right?
Our next story: widow spends GoFundMe donations for husband's death on gifts for lover accused of killing him. Love is a circle. What's that? The circle of life? Yeah, a woman who admitted planning her husband's murder spent thousands of dollars raised from GoFundMe on the man accused of carrying out the killing. That's a great fucking listen. You want to get somebody killed, raise money right after he gets killed. Say, listen, after he's dead and it's then I'll give you the $100,000, but I got to open a GoFundMe first.
That's not. I mean, he's dead. Who cares? What's he care?
Yeah.
Just
Police
chuck
have
me in
charged
the ground.
Faith's boyfriend, Darren Lopez, with a murder, and he was awaiting trial after pleading not guilty. Now he's trying to start a GoFundMe for his bail. It was shocking to see how much people were contributing and donated. Jennifer Faith also went on television and days after the murder to plead the gunman to come forward. Come forward, Bill. I mean, whoever you are. There was a case here.
Did she raise a good
that-
amount of money?
$60,000, and the days after, the GoFundMe fundraising account set up to provide financial support for the Faith family by Jennifer raised more than $60,000. So
Wow.
That's crazy. Who are the people that are funding these GoFundMes? I mean, there's plenty of comics and us guys that are working in this industry. We're like, hey man, we're struggling. Can you help me with my GoFundMe so I can get from my next show to my next? We'd get $10, $20. How are these people getting $60,000?
It's crazy.
It's like I'm legitimately working on my dream and doing it. I just need some gas money, some help.
Yeah.
Wouldn't get a dime. Meanwhile, this lady's getting $60,000.
Yeah. Somebody killed my
All you
husband.
gotta do
I
is
don't know who it is.
kill someone.
Yeah, exactly. Just go kill your wife and then fucking get a GoFundMe page. I mean, stop bitching and complaining.
If I can't kill on stage, I guess I'll kill a person.
Next
Better.
story: a woman who cited sugar daddy to get out of Nicholas Cruz sentencing. Jury, she said she receives $8,000 a month. You know, Victor Cruz was the young kid. Did we lose everybody? All right. Victor Cruz was the young kid who shot everybody at the Parkland High School in 2018 or whatever it was, 17 on Valentine's Day. And in Fort Lauderdale, the courthouse in Fort Lauderdale, where whenever I had jury duty, I had to go to, they were voir diring the potential juror members, and they had this one woman who says, "I can't do it. I'm too busy. I got a sugar daddy who needs me all the time."
That's work.
Fucking
that's a job. You know, I can't miss a day of work. I'm getting paid for this.
No.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
That's, kudos for her for being honest.
Right? I mean, at least you got to say that. You know, she could have made up some bullshit story. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in like a jury duty, and the people like, well, are there any reasons why you can't be around here? And I always say the same thing. I'm a stand-up comic. I got gigs out of town every month. Yeah, and then I was like, tell me a joke. I'm like, fucking, this jury process is a joke. On Monday,
I was in the.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was gonna say on Monday the juror selection.
You.
On Monday, the juror has come to be known as Miss Bristol. Told the court in Fort Lauderdale that she had too many commitments to serve on the jury. The woman told the news that she receives $8,000 per month from her sugar daddy. I hate it when she calls me that.
That's not a bad living.
Yeah, I would high five her and on the way out, like, "You go, girl!" Bam.
Yeah. That's not $8,000 a month. That's nothing to sneeze at. What's that? 6 figures.
I mean, they have these websites here for that. 000. They have the websites for people to become, to get sugar daddies. They get these young women sign up in there, and these rich guys go in there, and I'll pay your apartment, I'll buy your car, I'll do all that shit. Just come over and fuck me once a month.
Yeah. Sugar daddy. When I was a kid, I would have killed for just a regular daddy. Now they're out here with fucking getting $8,000 a month.
Yeah. What do you mean, a sugar daddy like the ones you eat? But there's only one way to eat it. Yeah.
No, I mean, I wish that I had that option. I mean, all these stories are full of. These are really empowering stories for women. First is 2 chicks were making $14K at the La Quinta.
Yep.
This woman's making $8K a month, being a sugar baby, I guess.
Yeah.
The other woman made $60K on GoFundMe. We're closing the wage gap on this episode.
I don't know what comic said it, what woman comic said it, but any woman who's broke is an idiot. Any woman that doesn't have money is just not selling that coochie. Because
any woman with 2 feet and is broke is really missing an opportunity here.
I mean, come on, just give it up already. Don't be so tight. And our last story, electric shock. You're gonna be happy with this, Andy. Electric shock to penis may cure premature ejaculation, study says.
Nice. Get yourself a taser.
Yeah, just hold on, honey, before we have make love. Oh, I'm gonna come. Hold on. Okay, I'm okay. Another 5 minutes. I mean, I've heard that if you want to keep from that, there's things you could do, like you could squeeze your cock real hard. Like if you're fucking, and you think you get ready to bust a nut, you just grab it and you choke it like it's like it owes you money. And then, and then you something like that. I've heard that you could think about baseball, right? I had something that worked for me for a while where I would do the alphabet, but I would say men's names, and that would completely keep me off from, Albert, Bill, Charlie, Derek, Edwin. I start doing that.
You do that
next
out loud?
Yes. Bill,
Albert.
Charlie, Franklin.
You just
George.
start doing the military call signs. Like you sound like you're calling in an airstrike. Alpha Bravo Charlie.
Foxtrot Bill, Philly. Omaha. Like fucking. What's his name? Researchers judged the person's recovery, a virtually shocking cure of premature ejaculation. Successful? Elemental.
You just pee
elemental
yourself. If
sap.
I got tased, I'd just pee myself.
Yeah.
Pee's not
Yeah,
cum.
I mean-
that works.
Yeah. That's not officially coming. Hey, honey, I didn't come. That's just piss.
Well, that's what my buddy said when he got cattle prodded and tased 3 times in the back of a limo.
Yeah.
Is that in Panama City?
No, that was at a fish concert in Alabama.
A
He was
fish
at a
concert
fish
in
concert in
Alabama.
Alabama. A fish concert in Alabama.
Wow. I can't imagine a smellier environment than a fish concert in Alabama.
God. The therapy was shown assistant 7 times longer. Well, that would be like a minute and a half then.
Nice.
Longer successfully. Furniture, part of the ejaculation process consists of sperm being released by the rhythmic contraction of aggregate perineal muscles. Well, I got very good perineal muscles down there.
Wow.
Kegels.
6 months
That's
after,
what it is.
6
It's
months
just
after
Kegels.
undergoing the treatment.
Yeah.
6 months after undergoing the treatments, the anthrol from the survey was capable of pleasuring his woman. This whoever wrote this, it's all fucked up. Pleasance of the woman for a means of 3.9 minutes earlier, reaching completion. Wow, 3.9 minutes. This guy's a regular marathon man.
Wow. 3.9. That's, I mean, I got 4 kids. 3.9 is like, I'm out of breath.
I could do 3.9 minutes if I pause for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, is there a halftime?
You got like okay. No, don't move.
We'll
don't
stop.
Move, don't
Andy's
fucking
gonna
move.
come and he's gonna do 7 minutes.
Yeah. He's gonna step
He's
in.
gonna do.
And if
I
he's
got a
not
guest
Big
spot.
Bird,
I got a guest spot for this.
Andy Gunnan's gonna come and do a guest spot on me. He's only gonna do 5 minutes, honey. I'll be right back. I'll give him the light at 4. And don't worry, if he doesn't follow the rules, we'll get a fucking robot in here to do the fucking job.
Yeah. I didn't see the light.
I had my eyes closed. Oh my God. Well, gentlemen, that's all we have time for here on the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I want to thank Dave J and, of course, Andy Gunnan for joining us here on the show. Andy, what you got coming up?
I've got a couple of things coming up in West Virginia in June. Got a couple of things pending. I'm actually working on set back on a couple of movies this week. So back into the filming, jumping back in there. And that's about it right now.
Awesome. Dave?
Yeah, I'm all over the road. I'm in Austin this week. So I'll be performing all around Austin. I'll be in Philly, Albany. I can't remember where after that, but just follow me on Instagram at Dave J Comic. That's where all the good stuff is.
There you go. I am in Florida this week. On Friday, I'm going to be at Winter Circle in Lakeland, Florida, headlining the room. And Saturday, I'm going to be at Daytona Live in Daytona Beach, Florida. Hopefully, I won't find that guy in the fucking Mustang, the broken leg. Wouldn't that be funny? I go to the store, and the guy 5.0 goes, "Hey, can you drive? My leg's broken." It's still the same.
I've been wondering.
Roaming around Daytona.
It's been like 20 something years. It's been 25 plus years. I want to know what happened to him.
Yeah. He's not driving a 5.0 anymore. He's driving a fucking Focus. Anyway, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. And for everybody else, thank you for watching the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Wake Up Late with Dougie show, and on Twitter at Wake Up Dougie. And of course, we need you guys to go and subscribe to us on YouTube. I know a lot of you folks watch us on our fan page on Facebook, but we really need you to go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, because we need more people so we can get our own like URL, a URL, our own page, instead of being hashtag ampersand S fucking umbrella, egg emoji, fucking eggplant emoji. We need you guys to join us or subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. We appreciate it. And as for me, don't forget to follow me at Dougie Dangerous on Instagram, and of course on TikTok and Twitter at Funny Fiduciary. Guys, God bless. Thanks so much. We'll be back next week with an all new show. You guys take care.